Hi, I'm Simon from Sailing Britain, and we help people become successful sailing cruisers. Are you thinking about becoming a sailing cruiser? I'm going to tell you what my typical day is, what I love about it. I get up in the morning, I make myself a coffee, I go up on the cockpit and I sit there and I'm drinking it and I'm just looking at the beautiful sights, looking over a beach or looking out to sea, seeing boats go by me, waving to people. It's just fantastic. After I've done that, had some breakfast, I then do my boat jobs, because I like to do my boat jobs in the morning and get that out the way. Normally I say, yes, I've got a boat job for an hour, and sometimes it normally takes 3, maybe it goes on a little bit longer. And then I have lunch. After lunch, I go and do some exploring, going up into the mountains, doing a walk up into the hills, going on the beach, meeting people, or maybe the jobs have taken a bit longer and I have to go to the nearest chandlery, the dinghy, and go get a part. While I'm there, I'll meet somebody and they'll say, oh, we're having a sundowners on the beach tonight. Okay, I'll see you there. Go and finish the job and then go for a swim and then get ready and go on to the beach and have a sundowners with friends and have something nice to eat. It's just a beautiful day, and then sitting at the back of the boat, maybe having a barbecue if I'm eating on there, with a glass of beer or a nice glass of wine. It's just brilliant. Best days ever. So if this day and lifestyle appeals to you, how do you become a sailing cruiser? The first thing you don't do is buy a boat and just go off. I was helping somebody that had bought a boat, and I was trying to explain to him that he needs to go out and practice his boat, go sailing here, go and anchor here, but he just kept spending money on buying a new bimini, putting new stuff all on his boat. The boat cost about $400,000, and I think he spent in total about $600,000 on this boat, and he hadn't actually been out in it. The only time he'd moved it was from the dock where he was on to go to the dock to get it pumped out and then back and fuel dock, and that was it. And then he went on his first sail, realised that he didn't like it, and then had to sell the boat. I'm going to sell it for $600,000. No, the money you put into it, you'll never get back. So he had a very expensive mistake, and I don't want you to do that. So what should you do? What you should do is go out sailing as much as possible, get on other people's boats, go to a sailing club, and then dinghies. Dinghies are a great starting boat. Maybe talk to somebody that needs crew to do some racing, or maybe needs to move a boat from A to B, and then you can help them that way. And that's a great way to get into it. So number 2, what you want to do is get in as much varied locations and various weather conditions. You know, you might have been sailing on lakes, but that is nothing compared to sailing out in the big wide ocean, where it can be flat calm one day and then next day you can have some nice big breeze and waves coming up, and about 4 or 5 feet waves, and it's just brilliant sailing in those conditions. And it's also good, get out when it's not so nice, so to see if you can actually like it and you can cope with it. Okay, so number 3, go out with an expert. Get them to do a bit of tuition with you and how the boat works, manoeuvring and all sorts of things like that, because the last thing you want to do is buy your boat, go out not knowing what you do. You leave the dock, you crash into other boats, you put up the sails and you're doing it all wrong. It might scare you, it might scare your partner, and that's what you don't want to do. So get out there with an expert. Recap: 1, get on other people's boats, find out how their boats work and how they work. 2, get yourself into different locations and different weather conditions, because that will give you some really good information on what it's going to be like when you get your boat. 3, get an expert to help you not make the mistakes that I did when I started and other people have done when they started. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Learn from an expert. So what do you want to learn when you go on other people's boats, in different locations, in different weather conditions, and under the supervision of an expert? You want to learn about safety. What is safety? Safety of you, safety of the crew, and safety of the boat. Look, you can read as much manuals and watch videos as much as you want, but when you actually go out there and feel it, like especially on a man overboard, you know, there's lots of videos out there, but when you actually practice it, not with a live casualty, but with a floating device, and you pick it up. So that's an example of something you need to experience actually physically on the boat. If you want a copy of our safety blueprint list, click below. Another key experience is handling boats in tight spaces when you're manoeuvring the boat trying to come into a dock. When I was doing a course, I asked if we had a spare 2 hours, if I could do just close quarter manoeuvring in and out of the dock, how to move the boat. And I tell you what, I found that so helpful, and it made me so much more confident when we were on our own boat back in the UK, and it was just brilliant, and I learned from the experts. Another thing to experience when you're on somebody else's boat is getting their sails up, because sails go up differently on different types of boats, and you figure out that. Funny story, when I first went sailing, we did a 2-day course, went sailing and trying to get the sails up, and Kim's looking at me going, these sails aren't going up. I goes, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. I realised I was going downwind instead of into wind to get the sails up, so made a total mess of it, but I learnt from experience by myself. But if I'd gone out with an expert prior to that, I'd have learnt better, and I would have been going into wind and knowing what to look for. And once you've got the sails up, then you go and sail at different points of sail and different tacks and jibes, and when's the best time to do them. You can only do that by actually being on the boat. You know, you get the pictures and say the wind's here and your sails need to be here, but you actually feel it, and you can feel the boat react differently when you move the sails into different positions. And that's something you have to do before you become a sailing cruiser. It's just brilliant when you feel a different way the boat handles. Another thing what you want to experience when you're on somebody else's boat is rules of the road and etiquette, because there's no lines in the water there telling you where to go and turning right here and traffic lights, so you need to know those rules. When you're out there, you look at a boat and you think, is that boat coming towards me? Is it coming towards me? I don't know. But then eventually you'll find out. You'll feel it, and you'll see it, and you'll know that the boat is coming this way or it's going away from you. You can only do that when you're on a boat and experience it for yourself. So passage planning and weather. So you sat there in the morning having your coffee and you plan where you're going. You go to A to B and you figure out what the weather's going to be like, what the sea conditions are going to be like, what the anchorage is going to be like where you're going into. And then it's great that you know what sails you're going to be setting. So off you go, and you get round the corner, and sometimes you go, yep, it's exactly how I said it, and then half the time it's going, the wind's coming from a slightly different angle, the wind is a bit stronger, the waves are a slightly bit bigger, or the flatter, or whatever. But it's so good to feel it and know that you're achieving what you're achieving on a boat, and it's totally different than in a classroom. Getting yourself from point A to point B nice and safely under the conditions that you were hoping for is priceless. So another thing to experience before you get your boat is anchoring and mooring balls. Oh, bless them, the amount of people I've watched and help that are coming onto a mooring ball that are new cruisers that just don't know what they're doing. They're going too fast, coming in at the wrong angle. Oh, it's actually quite funny to watch, but it's always nice to go and help them. But this is something great to go out with an expert, because it's not actually hard to do. They'll show you the ways and means of doing it correctly, and it'll make it so much more easier for you, because trust me, you'll have more arguments with your partners over anchoring and mooring balls than anything else. There's lots and lots of different experiences you want to feel before you go out on your own, but one of them is your engine, checking it, servicing it, and doing problem solving. And you can always talk to an expert on what they look for and how they deal with things. So look, I could talk here all day and tell you what you need, the experiences you need to get. What you need to do is get out there and experience on a boat with an expert. You can go and watch as many YouTubes telling you how to anchor, how to get on a mooring ball. Yes, great, but it's totally different when you actually physically do it. You can read books. I had a person come on to me and goes, yep, I know how to sail, I've read 5 books and watched videos for the 6 years. I gave him the helm, next minute the boat was going here, the boat was going there. It's totally different when you're actually on the boat than reading it or watch it on video. So just get out there and do some experiences. If you want a comprehensive checklist on everything you need to know to become a successful cruiser, click the link below. If you're interested about getting some experience, why don't you come out with Sailing Britican? I will show you how the weather routing, planning, anchoring, mooring balls, setting sails, everything that I've gone through, starting off with safety. At the moment, we do couples and families. We come out on the boat, and we've started doing guys weeks, and I think the guys weeks are going to be great, and we're just going to have so much fun. And from the start of it, I will show you how to do it. By the end of it, you're going to be running Britican, and for the last couple of days the boat will be yours and you're going to do it and I'm just there as a safety net because I'll be teaching you how to do everything. So if you want to join me and get some sailing experience, click the link below. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and follow us, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye. And you sat there in the morning. Yes, thank you. I don't know why you're laughing at me, it's not that funny. We've got an open church over there on the other side, and I've got a crow that's shouting at me. Go away.